Hey there, hope you're doing well. I'm gonna try to keep this video pretty short. Probably not, you know me by now. I'm probably gonna have this to the usual markup, but today I'm gonna be talking about how you can fix your content with this one little tweak in your approach, and not just your content, but your entire marketing strategy. So thanks for watching this video. In this video, I'm just gonna go over what you can do to fix um, what you can fix in order to improve your content and optimize it even further, and not just your content, like I said, your entire marketing strategy for that matter. So chances are you're watching this because your videos aren't optimizing the way they should, you're not getting good engagement, or frankly your videos just suck. So that's perfectly fine, because not only am I here to help, I'm also here to give you insight. And obviously you have to realize that this is part of the process. When you're either first starting out or maybe even a couple of years down the line or so, you are going to struggle. You are going to have moments where you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know how to correctly approach things. And that's where I can come in and try to give you some insight. And the reason why I say this is because I've not only worked with brands and figured out what works for them, but also I've understand the perspective of I have a good understanding of the perspective of certain things. And one perspective I want to talk about is the perspective of the customer. And that's probably the most important perspective to understand. So I think understanding that can definitely help you. But I'll go into that in a second. So chances are, you're lacking something to get this. If you want to market your brand better, it's pretty much like I said, understanding the perspective of the customer. One thing to understand about perspective is you got to put yourself in the shoes of the customer. You have to understand everything about them and what makes them them, right? Understand their pain points, understand their struggles, their desires, their interests. That's very important, because you get a glimpse of how they function, how they are, what resonates with them, what doesn't. So you always want to look at how they're reacting to your content as well, and how they react if they saw this. Like, if they were watching your videos, like, what would they think of it? You have to Every single question that you ask has to be within the perspective of the customer. Otherwise, why the hell would they buy your stuff? You have to stop looking at it in a very um, selfish demeanor. You have to look at it in other viewpoints. You have to look at it in the perspective of the customer. You have to look at it in the perspective of someone else's shoes other than your own. And yes, I understand it is your brand. It is what you want to do. At the end of the day, no one's going to buy it if it's all about you. It's about the customer at the end of the day. They say the customer's right. Not always true. Technically, the brand owner's right. But who controls it? Who who makes the sale? Who makes the buy at the end of the day? The customer. So you have to understand that, and you have to understand their perspective as well. And I think it's a better perspective to understand. And it can be a frustrating process, since it is sometimes very hard to understand. Sometimes, they may lose interest in you, which sucks. In other words, to put it simply, you lack empathy. It doesn't have to be this way, though, which is kind of the bright side. And I kind of had this intro for too long, so I'll try to speed it up. So I'm just going to give you tips, basically, and let's just cut right to the chase, because I don't want to have you sitting here for too long. Speak with your ideal base. If you don't know your ideal base, it just becomes impossible to understand them and who they are. So what better way to do that than actually to talk to them and reach out to them? You got to utilize Facebook groups and forums and surveys, but even go out to them yourself, like interact with them in real life. Try finding them. Try figuring out where they're going to hang out, whether it's real life or even online. Like, figure those stuff out. Figure that stuff out, and try to, ask them about simple stuff, like ask them about their struggles, their goals, their thoughts, what clicks with them, what resonates with them. This not only gives you insight as to what they would want from you, but it also gives you perspective of how you can use that to your advantage. Now, I strongly recommend reaching out to them yourself, like whether it's in real life or through personal content via like social media, or heck, you might even somehow get their phone numbers or whatever. But that way you know exactly what their pain points are, and you understand what can resonate with them, and what you can do to have them buy your stuff. And you'd be surprised as to how this type of messaging can definitely help them. And eventually you want to transition that and use that to your advantage, like I said earlier. After talking with them, you want to incorporate that same language that they talked about with you for your own brand. In other words, talk like how they talk and say things that will resonate with them. In a way, it's like give the people what you want. You kind of want to give them what they want to hear. You want to present it in a way where they would resonate with your brand. So to put this in more perspective, and I guess like to give an example, let's say you had a clothing brand that also wanted to focus on mental health and dealing with past traumas. You know, you talk to people who had issues about these in the past, or even are currently dealing with these things. Incorporate your messaging in a way where you can use the clothing as a reassurance that everything will be okay in their lives, or that it'll only get better from there. Or, for example, let's say they manage to conquer their demons, you could also have stuff, clothing products that have reflected that. And this will resonate with them because not only does it can either guide them through their current struggle, or it can show them how they conquered their demons in a very dark period in their life. So it's just doing small stuff like that can really give a greater reward, and you'd be surprised as to how that little tweak in your messaging or the way you approach addressing your customers can really do a lot of um, benefits with your brand. So the third and probably the most important is understanding the approach to your messaging. And as I mentioned with incorporating the language, you want to make sure that the messaging is right. Tonality is very key. In the same way that I'm talking, you want to make sure that your messaging is just right. You want to make sure that it's not too soft or too tough. You want to understand what exactly they like to hear in the way it's presented. Like, figure out what they want to hear and how they like being told it. Look at what your best and most loyal customers are responding to. That's some good insight, but also use that insight as feedback as to what you could be doing better and how you can be using that even further and leveraging that. So after figuring that out, incorporate that in your sales assets. Use that in your content, use that on your ads, use it on your posts on social media or your emails or your SMSs, whatever. Any sales asset that can get people looking at your website, or emailing you, calling you, saying that they want your service or whatever, or maybe that they want to buy your product, right? That's what you want. That's what you want to do. That's the key. That's the goal at the end of the day. Understanding the perspective of who's on the other side just makes it simpler. Not only to get more sales, but also understand how you can target your ideal audience to create something more than what you already have. So once you build this empathy up, once you have it built up, stop viewing your brand in the selfish light and remove yourself out of it in a way where basically your customers have a say in a way where it's not, obviously they don't have more power over you, but it's to say that you understand what they want and you understand their needs and you can help fulfill those needs. So you want to understand the perspective of your ideal client or customer. I don't know how many times I've said that. Sorry, but I'm going to repeat saying that until it's drilled in your head. So my tip to you: think deeply about the perspective of your customer and incorporate that message as to how you can help them and how you can benefit them. And the rewards will be immense. So, in all other words, that's how you get them to act. That's how you get them to click on your link and buy your products. That's how you get them to book a call for your service. That's how you get them to email you about it. That's how you get them to do an action and, get to the next step of the funnel. So pretty much that's going to be it for this video. I don't have anything else to add. So that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoy watching again. I didn't expect it to be this long, but, it's not surprising. But, I hope you got some good value out of this. Feel free to drop a like and a comment below. Express your thoughts. We'd love to hear some feedback or even your insight on this. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.